Hi guys, this is Lalana. Thanks for tuning into the Sovereign Path. So today we're going to talk about something that I've been noticing coming up around and a lot, and I've had questions about this as well. So a huge part of this path, a part of ascension, a part of the awakening path is we are releasing the separation consciousness and all of the properties that run that. One of those being ego, hence ego death, and the accompanying subconscious patternings and subconscious programmings that we attribute to our woundings, right? That we attribute to what has been wrong with us for however long it's been in this lifetime and potentially others as well. That subconscious programming that is running in the back of our mind all the time on autopilot, that is basically creating our reality. Whether we are consciously aware of that or not, this is what's creating our reality. Are these belief systems, the things that we are subscribed to, our identifications, our definitions, the things that we, attribute to karma, all of these sort of things are running in our subconscious programming. So we need to have the awareness that when we're going through the ascension, going through the awakening, these are being released, right? You guys have heard me say this a lot. This stuff is being released. That's why you're being triggered. This stuff is being pushed up to the surface for you to release it. That's why the masculine comes in and points the light in all of these aspects where we are running unconscious, usually, programmings and patterns to make them conscious, right? To bring the shadow into the light, to make the unconscious known so that it stops running your life in ways that potentially you simply would rather not continue to experience, right? This is, when I say things like, there's only so far that you need to go on the healing path, because the healing path isn't about like fixing something that's broken. On the awakening path, the healing path is about releasing the subconscious programming and the subconscious patterns that we believe that we are. It's about releasing the separation that we have been identifying with for all of our lives and releasing the ego condition that runs along with that, that is also saying, I am this, I am that. It's identifying with all of these things. And so therefore, this is what we define ourselves as. So we're going through the ascension process. The masculine, not gender specific, is triggering us, and all of this stuff is coming up to the surface to be released, to be cleared, to be transcended, right? During all of this, one of the main things that I teach, besides transcending and feeling the emotion and allowing that stuff to come through, is also mind mastery, which is major on the awakening path, right? Mind mastery. What is my inner dialogue saying, right? What is my inner talk saying? What am I subscribing to, right? Basically what I just said. So when we're moving through this and we're having the awareness that I am not my thoughts, then who am I? I am the one who observes those thoughts, right? Famous quote, you guys have heard that tons of times. Hopefully, if you haven't, there it is. So I am not my thoughts. I am not my subconscious programming. I am not my ego conditioning. I am not my ego mind. I am the one who observes those things, right? I am the infinite, eternal being who observes those. I am the I am presence experiencing itself in form. I am the higher self. I am the oversoul experiencing itself through separation consciousness. I am the conscious light of being who is awakening out of the separation and all the programs that run it. So here's the thing, is that when we're releasing these programs, things are coming up, we're being triggered, abandonment wounds, rejection, unworthiness, all of the stuff, it's coming up. What does the ego do with that when that comes up? The ego thinks that that's what it is, right? One of the things I'd like you guys to stop doing, I say this in my coaching all the time, stop referring to ego as my ego, right? Then you're identifying with it as you. It's the ego, right? It's one of the navigational tools we have used to move through separation consciousness in the 3D matrix. So as ego death is occurring, which is a natural byproduct of your ascension, the ego is going to fight back. This is why I say to put ego in the back third row of your SUV and strap it into the seatbelt. If I need you, I will let you know. Because the ego is going to defend itself, it's going to argue, it's going to be judgmental, it's going to blame, it's going to say that there have to be conditions placed on everything. It is running on fear-based energy. That's what it does. It runs on fear. The whole separation consciousness that we have been experiencing is running on fear and lack and scarcity. The subconscious programming that we have taken on to experience all of this stuff, to believe that that is what we are, is also based in fear. That's why we call them wounds, right? That's why we call them the things that we need to heal, the things that we need to release, the things that we need to let go of. When we have the awareness that I am in a karmic relationship, and I've been in a karmic relationship with multiple people, we have the awareness when we go through the awakening that, oh, that's a subconscious pattern that has been running within me, and so I continue to attract that same theme through all of my, partnerships. Whether they are platonic, whether they are romantic, familial, you will see the same themes showing up in your life over and over again that are showing you what your subconscious programming is running. The ego will be defending this, as I said, and telling you and convincing you that you are that. You are the abandoned one, the unworthy one, the one who always gets left, the one who's always the people pleaser, the one who's always trying to be perfect, all of that stuff. And then we believe that that's what we are. So that's part of experiencing the 3D matrix, right? It's not good, not bad, it just is. But if you're awakening, then you are coming out of all of those beliefs. You're coming out of those definitions. You're coming out of that identification. And so that means that the subconscious programming is starting to be rewritten, it's starting to be overridden, right? By the higher awareness of the higher self that is you, of the I am presence that is you, that is experiencing itself and bringing itself back into the awareness that you are union, you are oneness, you are interconnected with all things. You are abundance, you are joy, you are unconditionally loving. There is no separation whatsoever in the truth of what you are, in the truth of what we all are. So what happens is that subconscious patterning keeps coming up. The trigger keeps happening, right? It keeps coming up. You keep having the same thought that's trying to convince you that you're unworthy of this, that you're unworthy of that, right? That you're abandoned all the time, that you're a victim all the time, that whatever. It keeps coming up, right? Because as you're going through the awakening, your vibration is shifting. Your frequency is shifting. You are coming out of the dream state. You are coming out of the illusory state, the sleeping state of separation, which means your vibration is rising, which means all of that stuff that I've been talking about is starting to peel away, right? The layers of the onion are starting to peel away. The ego is starting to crumble. It's starting to lose its grip. So what happens is as this stuff is coming up for clearing, transmutation, release, right? We're watching our thoughts, we're allowing our emotion to come through, we're being an energetic conduit, all the things that you guys hear me talk about. The ego conditioning is going to come to the forefront and try to convince you that you are spiritually bypassing something, that you are the wounds that it has believed that you are, that you have believed you are because you've been referring to your ego as my for however long, right? And it's going to come up to the surface and basically tell you that you're lying, right? That you're lying. This is a huge one, and I see it come up a lot. And, we really have to change our frame of reference. And, it's the same thing as when we hear like, oh, so I'm just supposed to be delusional now and pretend that all of these things didn't happen to me. And so now basically when these things come up, I'm supposed to just act like it didn't happen, right? I'm supposed to just believe now that I don't have an abandonment wound. I'm supposed to just believe now that I am suddenly worthy when I never believed it all my life, and now I'm just supposed to believe that. In these moments, have the awareness, it's the ego telling you that. It's the ego, again, and this is how sneaky the ego is, right? You'll be clearing this stuff. You'll be clearing these subconscious programmings, right? You'll know that you're clearing them. You'll be able to feel it, right? Stuff's not going to stick as much as was, but it's still going to be coming up. You're going to be triggered. You're going to have the awareness that the higher self, who is you, is guiding this entire path, as you guys hear me say it all the time. You'll feel something clear. You'll feel high. You'll feel inner union for a few minutes. You'll feel neutral for a few minutes. Potentially you feel in the void stage for a few minutes. Sometimes you'll just have like an emotional, surge, and then you'll feel really light after it's passed, and you'll have these awarenesses of, oh, this is what I am. Wait a second. I'm not having a ton of thoughts right now. I'm actually feeling really clear right now, right? I'm actually feeling really buoyant right now, or I'm actually feeling bliss right now, or I actually feel light right now. These are the moments that the higher self is bringing through to you to show you the truth of what you are. And it will show you all the time. The problem is that if it doesn't stay for long periods of time, we just fall right back into the illusion of the ego again. We fall right back into the illusion of the third dimensional programming again. And then we feel like, well, this is the dominant energy because it's always around. And so we forget, right? Or we can't lean back into those feelings that we have had of neutrality or inner union, and those states of lightness, of those states of we're transcending everything through meditation and all of that kind of stuff. And, it's easy to feel like, okay, well, this is what I am because this is how I have always felt when ego is at the forefront of things. So the awakening and the ascension, as I said, it's a simple process, but it's not an easy process for the ego. The ego hates this. It hates it. And you, thinking that you are the ego all of your life, hates it too. A lot of the times you hate it too. Because the truth of the matter is the aspects of you that you have been identifying with so long are starting to break loose. And so when the aspects of you are starting to break loose, you will ask yourself, and it will be the ego doing this, saying like, am I just lying to myself now? Who am I now? Well, what does this mean now? Well, where do I go from here now? Well, everything is on the unknown now if I leave this behind. Suddenly, if I don't feel like, I have an abandonment wound, then that means who am I now? Because I don't know who that is because I've always been thinking that I have an abandonment wound. And so at least I'm comfortable feeling like shit, right? You hear me say this a lot, uncomfortably numb or comfortably numb, however the song goes. Right? We become so accustomed to that it becomes scary for us to shift out. And so since it becomes scary for us to shift out, the ego really is just attaching again to, oh, well, you're not that anyway. Let's just fall back into what we know we are, right? Let's just fall back into the old identification. Let's fall back into the old definitions. Let's fall back into the old program because the ego is comfortable there. Right? You might not like it, but the ego aspect that has been running the show of your life is comfortable there. And so it's going to come in these moments and convince you, or certainly try to convince you, that you are not the I am presence, that you are being delusional, that this whole path is a freaking joke, that any sort of subconscious program that you're starting to override means that you're spiritual bypassing something, right? In truth, you were never separate. So it's the illusion that is stepping to the forefront that is trying to convince you of the illusion over and over and over again, right? This is a huge one, and I hope that it hits home for a lot of you because I understand that this is potentially, a larger concept to grasp. But the thing is that the subconscious programmings that you have been running all of your life were experiences. They are not the truth of what you are as the higher self. They are not the truth of what you are as the I am presence. You are an infinite, eternal being. You are a creator being. You created separation in order to have the experience as the I am presence, as the oversoul, as the higher self that is you, whichever terminology you're comfortable using, right? And now you are awakening out of separation. And as I said at the beginning, all the programs that run it, which means all the subconscious patternings that have told you that you are broken, damaged, fucked up, abandoned, wrecked, unworthy, rejected, all of that. None of that is who you are. None of it is who you are. So when it starts to be released, the part of you that you have been identifying with all your life, ego, is going to come in and tell you, but that's not who you are. But that's not who you are. We're all of these other things that we have been playing out through this entire lifetime, right? And so that's why the lower mind is always going to be fighting back when you're moving through this thing. And it's going to be telling you things like, well, aren't I just spiritual bypassing this now? If suddenly I don't believe that I'm abandoned anymore, but I've always been abandoned, and so how can that not be real, right? Because the whole 3D matrix is an illusion to begin with. And I know that that's massive. I understand that that's massive. But it's not spiritual bypassing, it just is, right? You go into meditation, you connect with the higher self, you have higher awarenesses, you're being led all the time by the higher self because you're being shown that throughout this entire path. That is truth. That is truth. Union is truth. Unity with the twin who is you is truth, right? Oneness is truth. Love is truth. Unconditional love is truth. The frequency of love is truth. Your abundance is truth. All of that is the truth of who and what you are. Everything that's separation is the illusion. It is the illusion. And so when you're releasing the illusion, of course, the mechanism that has been driving the illusion is going to tell you that you are crazy. It's going to tell you that you're lying to it. It's going to tell you that this is all crap. It's going to tell you all sorts of things because it's driving the illusion, right? The ego is driving the illusion car. It's been driving the illusion car all of our lives. It's why we have ego death. It's why ego death is crucially important. You cannot ascend without ego death. It's why I say in so many of my videos, if you're not going through ego death, then you're not going through spiritual awakening, which means you're not experiencing a twin flame path, right? Ego death means the illusion is breaking free. The illusion is breaking down. The illusion of separateness, the illusion of lack, the illusion of scarcity, the illusion of being wounded, the illusion of needing to go on this constant quest of healing, right? The illusion that the twin is separate from you as well, right? It's all being driven by all of these programs, all of this ego conditioning. So when all of this stuff starts to break free during ego death, the subconscious programs start to break. You start to have the awareness and the glimpses and the insight and the experience within that you are oneness, that you are the higher self, right? That you are the creator, and you feel it and you see it because your higher self is showing you all the time, right? Then the ego, who is driving the illusion car, is going to come in and try to concrete that illusion into your reality over and over by telling you that you're crazy, by telling that you're lying to yourself to release this stuff, by telling you that you're delusional, by telling you whatever the hell it needs to tell you for you to get back on board with the illusion, right? Because the higher self is driving the car once you step on the ascension path, right? The higher self has always been driving the car in truth, but it was experiencing separation. Now it's experiencing oneness again through you in this physical 3D avatar, right? Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes sense, right? We're not bypassing things, right? We're not lying to ourselves. We're not being delusional. We're just waking up, right? And waking up feels weird. It feels unknown until you get over the hump of it, and then you're like, oh shit, that's right, I remember this. I remember what I am, right? But until you get there, yeah, I understand. Like, I get it. I went through that too, right? But keep reminding yourself, right? This is why I'm such a huge proponent of meditation. That's why it's such a big thing, because it brings you back into the frequency of you. It brings you back into the frequency of the oversoul, of the I am presence, of the universal hum, right? Of Om. It reminds you who you are. It brings you back into the truth. It brings you out of the illusion, right? It's very easy to believe that this is all there is when it's all our five senses are seeing. But when you're going through awakening path and you're starting to have these energetic experiences, Kundalini's coming online, becoming more like aware, all your clairs are coming online, right? You're feeling your energetic body, your light body, all of these things that are an integral part of the awakening process. These are reminders, right? They're coming through to show you very full frontally, somatically in your face, so that your five senses can experience them, so that you have the awareness, the remembrance that I am that. I am oneness, I am truth, I am love, I am unconditionality, right? I am the frequency of love. I am that. I am all that is experiencing itself in form. And I am, or I was, experiencing separation. Now I am coming back into the remembrance that I am oneness, that I am union. And anything that is trying to tell me and convince me that I am lying to myself is only trying to convince me so that it can concrete the lie back into my awareness. But the lie is an illusion, right? It's just what it is. So hopefully that helps you guys. Hopefully that's clear. You know, keep reminding yourself that these experiences that you're having on this path of inner union, glimpses of oneness, you know, awareness of the higher masculine, awareness of the higher self, all of the, you know, energetic dance that you're having, all of this stuff is showing you who you are all the time. The ego is trying to show you who you're not. And that's why it's telling you that you're lying to yourself or you're being delusional when you're releasing the subconscious programs and patterns that have kept you in, you know, a perpetual revolving door of creating the same negative feedback loops in your life, right? You're not that. Never been that. You experienced that, and now you're not, and now you can release it. So that's it, you guys. I hope that you have an awesome day.